Sam, we're actually online right now. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you all for our lunchtime chats. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Jess, Elise. Who else? Robin. Nice to see you all. Just like that. And welcome to you all in YouTube land. Unfortunately, unless you put comments up, YouTubers, I don't get to see who you are that are joining in. Hello, Michelle. Nice to have you here today with us. Yeah, so good. Nice to have a little bit of sunshine, isn't it? And feel like the day's starting off nicely. It was a productive morning for me. And I got the lovely Chinita next to me here. I'm going to interview Chinita in a second. Dow's behind us. She's cutting an apple, getting some lunch going.
Hello.
Hello, she says. Sam's upstairs. Jolie's getting changed or something. And here we are. So last night, I want to let you know about this. Last night we had a wonderful council meeting, which is kind of like what we call our church board, but the group that oversees our church. And we met together, and you know what? We went through every single person that exists in our church, and we talked about each one by name and assessed where they're at and where their names are and who they are and what their needs are in this particular season of time. And I felt so deeply encouraged by that we could go through the entirety of our church and think about each one, that each person is known, each name is known, praying for needs, thinking about where the acute needs sit, all those things. It was just such an amazing time together. And I think that's part of what church should be like, where people can come and they are known by name, their needs are known. I think that that's just part of church. At least that's my own conviction on those things. So it just felt so special to be a part of something like that. So we got Chinita here today, and we decided we're going to interview our kids, at least those kids that want to be interviewed about their life in coronavirus self-isolation land. So Chinita's the first one. She agreed to do it. How about a big smile for everybody out there? Oh, look at that, big toothy smile. Her braces are supposed to have been off.
No, they're coming up in May.
Oh, May. Okay, so you may still get those off. But I was thinking that you were out of those things. Anyway, I've got 3 questions for you, Chinita, as we start off. First of all, how are you feeling during this time? You have to speak up so they can hear you.
I'm feeling like at the moment I feel pretty tired. But I'm kind of just bored all the time because I can't really hang out with my friends, and we're not really allowed to go outside anymore.
Well, you're allowed to go outside. You just can't
but then
go
you read
fraternize.
this sign at Windsor, and then you made us talk.
Well, Windsor's closed now. Yeah.
It's been closed for 2 weeks. Everybody just keeps going.
Yeah. Okay. What do your days look like? What are you doing during the day? So you attend Lionsgate Academy, Christian Academy. Yeah, represent. And what does life in your world look like?
Well, we just started school, and we're doing classes online through Zoom. I mean, we're basically just Skyping our class. And that part's pretty fun. It's just we're not really doing tests anymore, so there'll be a lot of projects. And
how many Skype classes or Zoom classes do you have a day?
It really depends on what the teacher wants. But yesterday I had socials, French, math, gym, and we actually do an exercise in gym, which was super weird. And then I had science. I had all my classes yesterday, but it won't be like that every day. Usually maybe 3.
3 classes. So that's pretty different than our other kids' experience in the public school, where they're a little more low key, or a little more chill, just trying to get their vibe, get it figured out, right? To borrow a Samism, a vibe. They just be vibing over there in the elementary and in the high schools. Yeah, but they're also got way bigger challenges as far as just the number of students and all the rest of that stuff. So commend.
There's only 15 kids in my grade.
Yeah, she's dealing with 15 kids in her grade, right? So that's obviously a lot easier to manage. Okay, so last question: What's the hardest thing about self-isolation land for you?
very social, touchy person. Every day I get to school and I hug all of my friends and I just check in with them, and that's really hard to do when you can't hug people or like check in. Well, I mean, you can still check in with everybody, but like it's like different because it's not in person and it's super weird adjusting. Like I'm still adjusting to not having real school.
Right. Yeah.
I don't have to wear a uniform anymore. So.
No, but you like the uniforms.
Yeah, but
On the bright
I
side,
can
too.
wear sweatpants.
On the bright side, you get to check in with me. You know, come in, give me a nice big daddy hug every morning.
No.
She loves it. She totally loves it. I totally got her down. All right. Thanks for interviewing. Do you want to stay for the scripture reading? No, you got to. She's got to get to work. Okay, well maybe Dad will come and sit. Thank you, sweetheart. Good interview. Thanks for sitting in with me. All right, so our scripture today, dear friends in internet land and YouTube land and Instagram land, is, hey Chinita, can you get the kids to stop yelling up there? Sorry, just doing some parenting at the same time. I'll pass that along, Marianne. Thank you for the shout out to Chinita. And here's Dowie sitting in. I'll interview Dow in another day. So the scripture today is Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1 to 3, which if you've been around the church for a while, this will be a familiar passage. And again, just to frame the conversation, right? All of this scripture that is being assigned to us in this week here is preparing us for the cross and for the anticipation of the cross on Good Friday and for the Resurrection Sunday. So that's the focus of these scriptures. And of course, though, I mean, there's just so much overlap and good parallel for our own lives as we think of our current struggles that we are all facing. It brings us great encouragement, and I think you'll see that for sure in this passage today. Very short. It's from one of the letters historically attributed to Paul, although there's a fair bit of uncertainty around that. So this is what Hebrews 12, verse 1 to 3 says. Therefore, we'll talk about that word therefore in a second, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, who is the author and the perfecter of our faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinful men, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. Okay, so that's our reading for today, just those three little verses. Now, this word therefore, little scripture tip, right? Especially in the letters of Paul and the letters of the New Testament, better put. Anytime we see a word therefore, just like in our own writing, we know that it's linking a thought that came before it, right? So in order to understand what Paul is saying here, or whoever's writing this, I keep on referring to Paul, we need to have a sense of what's come before. Well, what's come before in Hebrews chapter 11 is this very long, again, another familiar passage called the faith chapter, where the writer highlights all of these people who lived by great faith and in most cases endured significant hardship as they did so. So they went through very difficult times. Many of the people that are accounted for in Hebrews chapter 11 are martyred. They're obviously dealing with incredible struggles and difficult times. And it's likely that the audience then that Hebrews is being written to is also facing struggles of some variety. And so the writer then is wanting to bring to them encouragement. And the way that he encourages them is by calling them to remember these that have lived by faith, these that went through their own struggles in chapter 11, but ultimately that they would be encouraged to press on by the vision that they have of Jesus, right? So let's read it through just briefly then. We'll walk through each little section. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses. And who are the cloud of witnesses then? It's all of these people that he's just listed in chapter 11. And the imagery, of course, that he's painting for us, right, is this idea of being in this grand amphitheater or grand coliseum and preparing for this race. And all of these people that have gone on before are there gathered around as witnesses to what's happening. I think it's a wonderful image and something that I often think about myself in my own journey. I think about all the people that have gone before me, way back even into the saints, but even more recently, things like grandparents and those people that have lived their faith and endured through their own struggles and their own challenges. So we imagine these people that are very much, Scripture tells us, very much alive in the presence of Christ. We envision that they are with us. We are surrounded by these ones, even right now. And I don't know, can they look in on our experience? Do they know what is happening here in our physical, material existence that we're experiencing? Right? I don't know the answer to that. But we can imagine that we are surrounded by these ones. And then the writer goes on, so let us throw off everything that hinders. You can imagine just throwing off weights and backpacks and those things that might be limiting us, and the sin that so easily entangles, these things that might trip us up. Let's throw these things off. Let's set them aside. And let's run, he says then with this wonderful word, perseverance. Let's be people that live with perseverance, right? The race that is marked out for us. What it is that we're called to run. Not necessarily the race that these people back in Hebrews 11 were called to run, but what is the race that's been marked out for us? Let's throw off the things that entangle us and run the race that's marked for us. And then he gives us the instruction in verse 2. Let us fix our eyes on Jesus. And in simple churches, right, we have this very simple vision statement. It's this: our vision is Jesus. And the idea behind that is that we don't need any other vision. The only thing that we need is him. We need to see him. We need to see where he is. We need to see how he lived. And we need to come in behind and follow him. That's his invitation, right? That we would be people that follow him. And so let us fix our eyes then on this one. Let's Jesus be our vision, who is the author. He's written and perfected our faith, who for the joy set before him endured the cross. So he endured his own suffering. He endured the cross, which we're going to think about on Friday. He went through this ultimate test, Jesus did. But he did so with a vision to the joy that was set before him. And that joy was his Father, that he was going to be able to sit down at the right hand of God the Father. So Jesus went through his own deep season of suffering. Actually, his entirety of his ministry life, it seemed, was filled with suffering, but it ended then with this significant experience on the cross. How did he endure that? He had the joy of God and being with God set before him. And so he went through his own experience of suffering. And then the writer concludes, consider him, right? Think about Jesus in these days. Think about all that he endured, all the suffering that he went through. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinful men or from dark realities, so that you will not grow weary and that you will not lose heart. And that's the word of the Lord for us, right? That we would think about all the cloud of witnesses that are surrounded all around us, these ones that have endured and suffered themselves. And ultimately that we would see Jesus, this one who suffered himself in such a profound way, that we would set our eyes, that he would be our example, the one who's authored and perfected our faith, that we would set the joy of the Father before us, that we would walk forward with that kind of perseverance in these times. So may Jesus be our vision today, right? Jesus be our vision. Let us see you. Let us see how you've endured yourself. Let us set you as the example. And may we go forward with you as our vision. I love that. For me, I think the Christian faith, it's always just come down to Jesus. We see Jesus, we are filled by his Spirit, and in Jesus then, we get to live for the glory of the Father. All right. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day together. Day today, and that you're filled with his blessing, and that this can be an encouragement to you today. I know it's been an encouragement to me. I sure love you all. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we will see you tomorrow. Getting ready for Good Friday. Be ready there. Okay. Bye-bye, everyone. Now you want to shut off the Instagram land? Oh, he wants to do a TikTok in the end. Okay. Maybe when it's her time. This is what we're getting all the time, actually. TikToking. Okay. Bye, everyone.